Well, as you're talking with that example, one of the things I think about with my friends who are teachers, principals, or administrators, I feel like there's such low trust with the community right now that every misstep by, one of those folks, superintendent, assistant principal, teacher, can lead to so much heartache and pain in the social media or the news that I, who would like to be a trust and inspire person, might find myself going to a more command and control out of just being scared of the what ifs. What kind of encouragement do you have leaders that are kind of paralyzed in that stage right now?
First of all, I understand it. And because context matters. And that's our context right now. And here's the danger, though, of leading out with that. If we, in a low trust world, we all become a little bit more careful, more cautious, more guarded, and people respond back more careful, more cautious, more guarded. And we could find ourselves perpetuating this vicious cycle of distrust and suspicion, creating more distrust and suspicion, and everybody feeling justified in the process. Distrust is contagious. But thankfully, so is trust. And trust and confidence can create more trust and confidence. So, but in that context of a low trust environment with different stakeholders, where everyone's a defender for a word, so to speak, and they're really waiting to kind of pounce on something, you have to be careful. And so I'm not advocating you just go out and just trust anyone and everyone, regardless of the situation, the circumstances. I think you have to look at context. And I would say if you could try to proceed with what I call a smart trust. And a smart trust is really blending two key dimensions. The first is your propensity to trust. By propensity to trust, I mean an inclination, a bias, a desire to trust. I'd like that to be high because that opens you up to possibilities. That flows out of your heart. But you're going to balance that with your analysis of the context of the situation, the risk involved, the credibility of the people involved. And when there's a lot of people out there kind of already starting from a place of distrust and trying to find areas that you're falling short, you got to be a little bit careful about that. And so it's a blending of heart with head, propensity to trust with analysis, the context, to try to find a sweet spot using good judgment of kind of maybe where to trust, how much to trust. But what I am saying is this, is rather than just perpetuating the vicious downward cycle, where because they come in with distrust and you come right back with distrust, you'll just continue it. Instead, if you could say, look, if you can come in and maybe declare your intent that the best way that we're going to improve our schools, the best way we're going to improve our community and the work we do with students and the work we do as schools is to build greater trust with each other on our teams. And we know we need to go first. We need to model it. So I'm going to lead out as a principal. I'm going to lead out as a superintendent, as an administrator, and try to go first. I'm going to declare my intent. And you open yourself up. Here's what we're trying to do. Here's why. I always give the why behind the what. If you give people a new lens through which they might view you, maybe someone begins to do that. And then I may lead out a little bit and say, and choose to be a little bit open, a little bit transparent, talk straight about it, be authentic, be real. And I might not go all the way with this because maybe that's too risky right now. But maybe I'll go part of the way. Maybe I'll do a little bit, but just showing how there's nothing to hide here. I don't have a hidden agenda. I have an open agenda. I'm transparent and I'm opening. I'm declaring my intent, maybe even declaring myself. Here's who I am. Here's how I want to lead. And it includes building trust. And I know it doesn't just happen. So we have to work at it. And I'm willing to go first. So if that's the idea, is you take that first step versus kind of just continuing to perpetuate that vicious downward cycle that we're trapped in right now.